As we line up vehicles for another Battle of the Bluegrass, we're going to enjoy a truck and tractor sandwich, hot farm tractors, followed by work stock trucks, topped off with Pro Farm. Tasty.
What is pulling? It's the only motorsport measured in inches. Pulling involves tractors and trucks hitched to a special sled with a moving weight box. The goal is to haul the sled as far as possible before the shifting weight pulls it to a stop. The longest pull wins.
This week's How's Lou Battle of Bluegrass is coming to you, ladies and gentlemen, from the Daviess County Fairgrounds just outside of Owensboro, Kentucky. Young and old alike will enjoy the pickup trucks that we're going to have a little bit later on in the show, right, Tom?
That's right. The work stockers are here, limited to a 2.5 turbocharger, and it's pretty wide open from there. Some of these guys producing in excess 1,000 horsepower, Ted. These are phenomenal. Dodge versus Chevy in the work stock.
But our first class, the 11,500-pound hot farm tractors. This is Mule Deer Extreme, ladies and gentlemen. You're looking there at Kevin Stumler.
Kevin Stumler, one of the top tractors in this class, and it's a wild class. No cubic inch limit, no turbo limit, just a 3,000 RPM limit. As long as they stay within that, they're good. Some of these tractors producing right around 2,000 horsepower.
Just over 307 feet. Brett Kepner's on top end.
It seemed like it pulled down a little bit around 100 feet.
Yeah, she got a good bite.
Good track.
Yeah, she's a bite.
Next up, getting after it, ladies and gentlemen, this is Brad Hutchisang out of Jasper, Indiana.
One of the few, and actually tonight, Ted, the only red tractor in a field of green. He's losing some water there, not enough to damage on the track, so they're letting him run, and he takes over the lead, Ted, and that's not fire, that's just fumes and heat mixing there, a little bit of an optical illusion. Let's ride on board for our look at the new leader with the How's Lube replay. What a run!
We try to do our best with this small engine. Everybody else has got a big block. We're still running a 466.
Oh, and the class is wide open except for that 3,000 RPM limit. You can go out and beat those big ones.
Yeah, we do it all we can.
Well, back to green, ladies and gentlemen, a John Deere 5020 that is driven by Josh Ayer out of Calhoun, Kentucky.
Well, the John Deere having problems bouncing up and down. Every time he does that, he loses drawbar, and look at him battling it right there to the end, but the 5020 is going to come up short, Ted.
Well, take a look. When he goes awry like that, he has to hit the brakes.
We got a hose some in there blow. Yeah, I felt it, and come apart in there. I don't know which hose it is. I'd say to the boost or air going to the ice box, but we blew a hose and we're done, I guess.
Did you see the oil all over the roll cage on that, Ted? What a mess. Let's move on with James Hunt now. All in. He's another Western Kentucky boy. This John Deere is a tough one, Ted.
True and straight, though, doing a really good job. He is on a pass, Tom, pulling. I think we're going to have a new leader. Yes, we do. 345 feet and change. Wow, we got to look at that again with the How's Lube replay.
Oh, look at him. Just throwing the dirt and the tension at the end, and parks.
Nobody likes to see the black stuff underneath there.
No, that's not a good thing, but that's just a little support, so we're in good shape. We can put it right back on.
Well, that's going to take a lot to put that back on, but glad to see he's happy. Heck, Ted, he just went 345 feet. This is Barry Cooper, Petersburg, Kentucky. Child's Play John Deere taking a bit of a wild ride, trying to keep it in bounds, having to drive that tractor right now with the brakes on the rear tires. He shuts down. If he could have gone straight, he'd have taken the lead. Let's look that at the How's Lube replay. Wow.
Well, he's got the front wheels turned, but when they're in the air, it doesn't do much correcting. He's got to use those rear brakes in order to get that tractor straightened out.
I think we've got something broke here. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe an axle?
Possibly. This wheels is spinning when I tried to back up. So.
Oh, no kidding.
We got something going.
No wonder it went wherever it wanted.
I was standing on the brake as hard as I could.
So there's always a problem story to be told. Our final puller right here, the John Deere of Matthew Glenn.
Well, Glenn is one of the top pullers in this category. The Buckwild John Deere has been around a while. Can he win the big one in Owensboro? Got to be 345. No, it's going to shut him down there, Ted. 324 will not get it done.
Well, one thing for sure, though, a John Deere ends up winning as we reset the weight in the sled. Our congratulations to James Hunt, the winner of the 11,500-pound hot farm class. Our coverage is brought to you by Howes Lubricator, professional grade performance since 1920. And by Bubba Burger, you'll never bite a burger better than a Bubba. And by Liquid Tube, the original liquid inner tube. You're watching the Howes Loop Battle of the Bluegrass, coming to you this week from the Davies County Fairgrounds, just outside of Owensboro, Kentucky. And our next class, work stock, 2.5 trucks. Our first puller, Adam White out of Waddy, Kentucky.
Adam White, one of the top pullers in this class. There's a lot of these tough work stock trucks coming from about 2 counties, and they're the top in the country. Adam White, one of them. 309.49, no surprise. That is going to be a good run, and he'll keep it.
Next up, Ben Stramer. He calls it track marks. He's out of Lexington, Kentucky. By the way, Adam White could have turned that down. I don't think so, Tom.
I don't think so. Check out the sled. Check out the box that's going to shut down this big Chevy. Will he pass the Dodge? No, he will not.
Not even close. You can see the weight moving forward on that. Thomas Carmichael will be up next. His dream, her nightmare.
Well, he was your winner here both days last year in Owensboro. One of the top trucks on the Howes Loop Series. Look at all the smoke coming out. His dream, her nightmare. His dream is to take the lead. He does it, Ted.
Let's take one more look at it. 312 feet beats out the 309 set up by Adam White.
When there's this many trucks in this class, you can't take anything for granted, even at 312 feet.
No, sir, it's nerve-wracking.
Here comes Jesse Roberts, the Mopar called Hammer Down out of Milan, Indiana.
He is the top running Dodge on the Howes Loop Series from the Hoosier State. You can see why as he's dragging it down. Look at the flare on that truck. That is one gorgeous machine. Shuts him down there, will not get it done.
You know what else Milan, Indiana is famous for? The Milan Miracle. They made a movie about that called Hoosiers.
Well, on the line right now is Austin White. His brother pulled earlier, went 309, and then Carmichael passed him. So Austin White trying to take a little revenge on Carmichael if he can do it. We're on board in the front. Did he pass him? No deal.
Boy, at 312 feet is going to be really tough to beat, Tom. Next up will be Philip Irvin out of Cynthiana, Kentucky. He calls it Pretty in Pink. Check out all the pink.
Oh, yeah, the Liquid Tube sponsored machine. Kevin Perkins owns the ride. Philip Irvin doing the driving. Both Perkins and Irvin, former Howes Loop champions in work stock, always with the Chevy. Will the Chevy get the Dodge today? Not going to happen. Mopar stays on top.
Next up, Matt Cottrell out of Finchville, Kentucky. He calls this Cantankerous. It's another Mopar with that big Cummins diesel.
And not only is he just another Mopar, he's currently the #1 truck on the Howes Loop Series in the work stock category. Going over a little bit more towards the right-hand side of the track. Is it working for him?
Well, Mac made it over 300 feet, but not 312. Brett Kepner's there on top end.
Is this truck still streetable?
No, sir.
When it was streetable last year.
Yeah, I've done some changes to it over the winter.
What'd you change?
I can't tell you.
Yeah, Brett, if he told you, he'd have to kill you. Nick Freed will be up next. He calls it Spare Parts.
Well, more than spare parts in this. This is one bad machine, another tough truck out of the Hoosier State, laying down a straight run. But is he going to have it on the top end? He's just not going to have that low end torque. Can't even turn the tires at the end. The track is taking its toll on the trucks tonight.
We'll take a pause from the action. Thomas Carmichael has the number to beat. Here's Brett Kepner.
Sure, it may be the Liquid Tube Summer Nationals, but how many people actually know what Liquid Tube is? Well, it's simple. It's the original liquid inner tube.
It was developed back in 1976. It's the original heavy-duty tire sealant. It can handle anything from a slow bead leak, rim leak, porosity leaks, all the way up to a 3/4-inch puncture in the tread on
that's
your
a big
heavy
one.
equipment. It stays in a liquid state for the life of the tire. It's not an aerosol. Once installed through the valve stem, it actually creates a liquid inner tube inside of the tire that actually stays in place year-round.
Okay.
Any punctures that are made are permanent. These are all plugs that have been made in one of our tires here, and they last for the life of the tire as well.
Now, I already noticed the product being used on some of the equipment that's actually being used to groom the track out here. Is that indicative of the type of equipment that benefits from this stuff?
Yes, we're used in tires all the way up to 12 foot in height on 600-ton haul trucks and some of the biggest coal mines around the world. But the same product that you can use in those operations, you can use in your own lawn and garden tractors, your lawn mowers, ATVs, just about any vehicle.
We'll be back with more after this. You're watching the House Loop Summer Nationals coming to you from the Davies County Fairgrounds in Owensboro, Kentucky, and that is what they call the Big Hook. Continuing on with the work stock 2.5 trucks, James Sullivan is our next puller with another Dodge.
Out of Bradfordsville, Kentucky, gonna try to shake things up here. A lot of guys seeming to find the groove on the right-hand side. Look at that smoke coming out. Looks like a choo-choo train, Ted. Runs out of power. 288 will not get it done.
And notice the weights he had on the front bumper right there didn't help. Here comes Dylan Detweiler out of Shelbyville, Kentucky.
He calls this Mama's Complaint, and Mama complains every time she sees the bill on this ride, let me tell you. A former top-notch antique tractor puller, but he likes the high horsepower that these diesel trucks deliver. Shuts him down there. Great run. Gonna put him in the number 3 spot right now.
Brett Kepner's on top end.
I guess I was just needed to try it, but it worked out. Just ran out of ponies.
It's all about risk, buddy. Great job.
Thank you.
You're looking at Cody Hardesty being backed up right there as he'll hook to the sled.
Well, Cody Hardesty, you're defending Howes Lube champion in the Battle of the Bluegrass Series. This guy is bad for business. Changed the entire truck this year, Ted. He is winless this year, which is hard to believe after the 7 wins he had last year. And he is going to come up short. 298 will not get it done.
Hey fans, notice how they use that one big exhaust pipe putting out that big plume of black diesel smoke.
We're actually having motor trouble right now, so it's not running great. Not near as good as last year, but hopefully we'll get it fixed soon.
All right, you have to explain this, Tom. Here comes Adam White again out of Waddy, Kentucky.
Yeah, they just keep producing trucks out of this stable over there, and they're all bad to the bone. He'll be the last one in the class trying to beat Thomas Carmichael, the guy that if he does this will win Owensboro 2 years in a row. Will he do it? Carmichael wins it as Adam White comes up short.
So with that, our final standings, congratulations go out to Thomas Carmichael. His dream, her nightmare, but hey, got a big check. Maybe it's not such a big nightmare. Coming up next, our 9,000-pound Pro Farm tractors, Tom. This is Bubby Race.
Bubby Race, a young driver, actually started pulling when he was 11 years old. He's 18 now. The Perfect Storm International laying down a good run.
Well, that'll be the mark to beat, 294 feet. Don't think I've ever seen a white International.
Well, they actually painted them white. International Harvester did. Had some commemorative tractors for the 1 millionth International built. That was not one of the originals, just painted in honor of it. 1206 International here. Former Howes Lube points champion, Justin Massey. No surprise, takes over the lead. Massey is a tough competitor in this class, Ted.
Took over the lead by less than 4 feet, but hey, it's a game of inches.
Well, we're going to look at something you don't see a lot here. Alice Chalmers in this class. Coming to us out of Evansville, Indiana, Greg Elpers. The Orange fans loving it. The Just Blowing Cast Machine, though, Ted, taking a wild ride up in the air. It's going to cost him on the far end.
I think you need a little bit more weight on the front end right there, Tom. Let's take one more look at it. This is a wild ride. Your steering, folks, does absolutely no good whatsoever. Got to use the rear brakes.
We missed the weight on the front. We took 50 pounds off the front. We should have left it up there.
Yeah, it went up pretty high.
It was too high. I hit the wheelie bars 2 or 3 times.
Here comes Red Strokes. This is Jeff Fleck.
He's out of Ferdinand, Indiana. Now, the Indiana teams, they usually weigh in at 9,500 pounds. The Kentucky teams, 8,500. They come together here on the Ohio River in Owensboro, meet in the middle at 9,000 pounds. It changes the dynamics of everything. Jeff Fleck coming up short here, 272, won't get it done.
Here's how they stand. Brett Kepner has another story on a sponsor.
They've been the sponsor of the Battle of Bluegrass Pulling Series for a long time. You've seen them here on our coverage. But one of the many amazing aspects of Howe's Lubricator is you guys are about as hardcore secretive about your product composition than anybody.
I can tell you this, it's made out of highly refined petroleum products. It contains no harmful alcohols or solvents, and that's one of the things we take pride in, for example. It is going to add lubricity to your fuel. It's going to help you with your mileage, for example, and we built our reputation on the fact that the product works.
What is the biggest general market for Howe's?
Primarily in the diesel market, and get into generators, for example, farm equipment, of course. It's the type of product that we build our reputation on, and there's a wide variety of uses for the product.
That's correct. We try to simplify things and make one product that does multiple things rather than have a vast array that you spend a ton of money on. One of the major fleets in the U.S. uses our penetrating oil and eliminated 16 different aerosols with the one product, which saved them money, reduced shelf space.
Absolutely amazing.
We'll be back with more after this. Our coverage of the Howe's Lube Summer Nationals is being brought to you by Rising Star Casino, official hotel and resort of the Battle of the Bluegrass Series. And by Urson Cams, 50 years of performance camshaft and valve train technology. And by Howe's Lubricator, professional grade performance since 1920. We're coming to you from the Davies County Fairgrounds in Owensboro, Kentucky with the Howe's Lubricator Summer Nationals. Ted Jones and Tom McConnell Mike side with you as we take a look at our next competitor in the 9,000-pound Pro Farm Tractor class, playing with fire.
Well, he definitely is. Now, he usually weighs 95. Tonight, special rules 9,000, and it shows. He needed that extra weight to balance the tractor. He surely was playing with fire there. Look at that, Ted. Battling that thing so bad, that's got to hurt the wrist.
So he only went 207 feet. Not really worth worrying about. Here comes Keith Race. Maybe he'll get it done with Red Rattler.
Well, Keith Race, the winningest Pro Farm tractor in history. The Red Rattler laying down a good run, but he will come up short. Justin Massey holds on to the lead at 298.04.
So Byron Ambergy, bad for business out of Mount Sterling, Kentucky, will give it a shot with his international.
He was the winner here last year when it was Kentucky versus Indiana. He won the Kentucky side. Been in the winner's circle several times this year. Ambergy lays down a good run. Not going to get it done, though, Ted.
Well, let's see what Justin LaFollette can do from Piner, Kentucky. He calls it the Red Rush.
Well, the Red Rush won this event here last year and won it here last night. He is on a heck of a run, a former Howe's Lube champion in this class. He's got to beat 298.04 and give it up. Red Rush takes over the lead.
The game of inches, 298.49. Let's go to Brett on top end.
There's still 3 tough tractors left to go, and I'm driving one of them. It's my neighbor's. He couldn't make it this weekend, so I got the duty of driving 2 of them.
So things are turning green with Zach Linville from Versailles, Indiana.
Oh, yeah, awesome running John Deere. Kind of a new ride. Debuted at the end of last year, still working out some bugs. Not a lot of green in the class, so Zach's got a lot of fans cheering for him. But the Hoosiers going to come up short. 289 will not get it done.
Next up will be John Horsley from Hudson, Kentucky. He calls it Johnny Time. What a neat name.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And look at Johnny getting his helmet on over his neck brace, and then he will be ready to launch. He launches it hard. He knows that's what it's got to do in Owensboro. You got to hit it hard and hope you got enough power at the end to keep dragging it. And Johnny does not have enough. Runs out of ump right there.
Boy, but he had that front end set right. Notice how that front end just barely off the ground. That's the way you want it, folks.
It's a real good track, real tight track.
Yeah, I mean, it pulled you down hard at the end there.
Power out of it. Lucky it didn't bob him down like it did some of the others.
So Justin LaFalla, now wait a minute, he's already got the lead. He comes back on a different tractor. He could finish 1-2.
He could, and this tractor very capable of doing it. Gary Spiegel, the owner, couldn't be here, but Gary, a former Howes Lube champion, and actually won this event before, but not going to happen tonight. Problems, he shuts down early, so the winner is Justin LaFalla.
Let's look one more time. You see the front end bouncing up and down there. Maybe you could use a little more weight.
We usually run pretty neck and neck all year long. Like I said, I might have made a little wrong gear choice tonight. I don't know. It's just, like I said, just trying to get used to different tractors.
Wrong gear choice, you won, Justin. What more do you want? 298.49 feet. Here's the way they finished all the way through number 11. Special awards now. Rising Star Casino Best appearing to Matt Cottrell, the cantankerous Dodge truck. And our Ursing Cam's Best Engineered Award went to Bubby Race, the Perfect Storm International Tractor. And the Liquid Tube Hot Run of the Day, oh, that had to be Barry Cooper, Child's Play. What a hot run that was indeed. And that'll bring to a close our coverage of the Howes Lubricator Summer Nationals from the Davies County Fairgrounds in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's been presented by Steiner Tractor Parts. I'm Ted Jones for Tom McConnell and Brett Kepner. So long, everyone. Thanks for watching.